You guys remember NBA Jam? I do, and I loved it. In fact, I loved the originals, and all the versions that came after it were good, but there's something missing. That arcade feel got lost as the series went on. And 2023, I think, the latest version that was out for consoles, they turned off the online servers. And so I don't know if that means you can't play the game at all anymore, but what I do know is you can't play any new version of this game. And for the most part, I'd rather be playing an old version anyways. But online play. No one added it to the Switch online consoles, not Genesis, not Super Nintendo. Why? I don't know. I mean, maybe they don't want to give up the rights because they put out all those arcade cabinets all the time with NBA Jam on it. Maybe that's the case. Oh, no. But here's what I do know. I have started making a game. Now, it's not going to be exactly NBA Jam. NBA Jam, you would need the NBA license, and I'm not paying for that. But okay, I got it. It will hopefully look and feel like NBA Jam in some ways. It will still be somewhat original, and I will do my best to do that. But I want the same side-scrolling 2-on-2 retro feeling, retro sounding type. Look, here's the checklist, right? Up here at the top, I want it to look retro. So it'll still be a 3D game, but still got the side scroll, and you actually have to do work to make a newer game look bad or look old. And so that's the feel I'm going for. I want it to feel as snappy and fast as OG NBA Jam. And here's a twist. Oh my God. Here's a twist. This ain't just an NBA Jam clone. Because you could probably find that, or you could probably find, ROM and an emulator, and you could be off to the races playing NBA Jam right now. But roguelite elements. So if you don't know what that is, here's a definition. Oh my God, those things! If you've played anything like Balatro, etc., there's tons of these games coming out because it is such a popular concept. And after I got absolutely addicted to Balatro, I'm like, I want to do something with that. But I already had this idea of I want to do NBA Jam with a twist. What that twist was at the time, I didn't know. Now I know. NBA Jam with a twist. Actually, it's an NBA Jam-like roguelite. That's what I've been calling it. Title, I haven't figured it out yet. But here's an idea. In between each play, potentially, you will pick a card. Cards, haven't figured that out yet. And you will gain points throughout the game, separate from the game score points. I don't know what we'll call these, in order to get other cards in between each round. So you'll start off and you'll be able to pick your starter card, right? And you'll have a choice. Hopefully get a good card sound. And you'll pick your card and you'll play. Instead of picking one of the many NBA teams in order to verse the computer or verse your friends, you have the same stats. So there's no reason, you kind of think it just doesn't make any sense anyways. Who's going to pick the worst team in the game anyways? So you have the same stats technically. The same percentages, the same odds of making this, that, or the other thing, except for whatever cards you pick. So your starter card may increase turbo length or increase ability to steal or something simple. And then as you go on and you're gaining points for things like steals, blocks, or losing points for goaltending and things like that, you'll be able to get more cards. You'll have a couple spots to put your cards. Things like that. So that's the general idea. So you do go through that. That would be the whole single player experience. It's you and your computer player teammate. Like in NBA Jam, you could pass to them, and when you press pass, it'll pass back. And that's kind of like how current day NBA games actually play as well. And you can tell them to shoot, etc. That's how that'll work too. You'll have your own drone, as original NBA Jam calls it, your own drone that's on your team. And you go through each quarter trying to win. Shot clock violations. All that will be in there. You'll be able to push people over. You'll be able to do a crazy dunk, I hope. We'll get there. And the idea is every time you play, you are the away team. Right? So every time you have the ball, the audience doesn't like it. The audience doesn't like this or that. You scored. The audience wants them to play defense. So that kind of defense song will play. I'll have to make that still. That's that general concept. When you play online against your friends, you'll flip a coin for who's home or who's away. So who gets the favored arena. And there'll be online multiplayer maybe couch co-op. I don't know about that right now. We'll get there. 1 to 4 players, because it's 2-on-2 basketball, and everyone has drones to play with. I want to build in an optional arcade mode, also online, that'll have no roguelike limits, just in case you just basically want to jam it out. That's how you play that. I want it to sound retro. Just butting in real quick to explain what I mean when I want it to sound retro. I got this thing called Super Audio Cart, right? Where they basically recreated all the sounds of all the old systems and made a synthesizer out of it. And in my opinion, the Sega Genesis theme song for NBA Jam was the best. So I recreated it using this plugin so you could hear how this kind of sounds, right? And they have a drum kit too, but I decided to, this is one of the ways I'm switching it up, is I'm pulling in my own drums for the song instead of using the same exact drum pattern that was on the original Sega Genesis theme song. So I slowed down the song a little bit BPM wise, and I made my own drums, and I used not the exact same instruments, but recreated Genesis style instruments for the song. Here's the actual original. It's a good song. Here's my version. So you can see, if you know anything about FL Studio, clearly this isn't, I'm not just sampling that, right? Play this pattern here. And then the whole thing together, baby. That's with the original drums. Turn the drums off, and we put in mine. Anyways, you get the idea. I just want to show you that I'm going to downsample sound effects so they sound retro as well. And I'm about to remake the defense. That wasn't in the original game, but I want it, so that's what I'm gonna do. Anyways, back to the other me. And I want unlockable characters, and potentially you'll be able to customize your team. That may come a little bit later once we get the whole flow going, you know what I mean? So, so here's how it's been going. This is how it started. I followed a YouTube tutorial. I made this. It was just the idea of what would it be like the shooting and the ball going to the hoop. We got it all covered. But then I had to move on. And this was the most painful part in the world, man. Oh my God. I wish this didn't suck so bad. But I needed, all of a sudden, a ton of basketball, NBA Jam-like animations for a player. I made my player. Looks good, baby. But he's got to be animated. He's got to do the NBA Jam swipe, the jump, the shoot, the dunks, the run, pass, all this. And I'm not a 3D animator by trade. I can do it, but I really don't want to do it. So, took to Twitter and Blue Sky, which was the world's biggest mistake. I need a 3D animation done. I need a 3D animator, etc., etc. Anybody know anyone who's good? Oh my God. And for the last month, I have been tormented by bots trying to sell me animations or graphics that they didn't make. And they're not just bots, these are just scammers out there in the wild, so beware. If you ever try to commission some art off the internet, that is so unfair, bro. It's gonna be a hard road. I remember a long time ago watching a Nerd City video, and he was all about commissioning art. Of course, don't steal art. But commission art, commission art, commission art, commission art. So I went and I tried my fucking hardest. And it was just spam and scam out the butt. I can't even express how bad it is for real artists. If this, I don't know what the grift is. What are you going to do when you can't give me the art that you are promising? I don't get it. I don't know what happens when you buy from them, how terrible it looks. But some of these people, their fucking portfolio is so obviously, I would reverse image search some of the shit that they were showing me. It's on someone else's profile from years ago. I caught people red-handed. I would post it, then they would block me. It's incredible. So don't trust anybody who DMs you, hey, how are you doing? Don't trust anyone who says kindly a ton. no real salesman that you want to work with will say kindly a bunch of times. Look at their replies. Did they endlessly reply to a bunch of people the same exact thing, trying to rope people into this fucking grift? Yes. Anyways, long story short, I ended up making some of my own animations. I got some from Mixamo, and that wasn't quite right. I didn't like it. Things just weren't looking too good. And it really... What am I supposed to fucking do? I found one guy. He made me like the swipe animation, and it was okay. It was okay. And I think he's a real artist. He's got an actual portfolio. His website looks legit. I trust him. I paid him. But then it hit me. The Unity Asset Store exists. Oh my God. How wonderful. So I went on there, found the most expensive, and I expected it to cost a good amount of money, but I found the most expensive thing I've ever bought. You gotta defeat all 2017 hella basketball animations in one package. Superstar and special teams that will show you no mercy. Ooh-wee. So I've been adding them to my player. You can see he runs. He can jump. We're not doing that right now, but he can. Walk. Have the ball, not have the ball. We got this basketball court. Actually, we got this basketball court from Unity Asset Store. And it was extremely convoluted, and none of the textures works. I think they made it for the old pipeline, Unity pipeline thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, who cares? So my plan already was going to change all the textures. Anyways, I don't want it to look all shiny and fancy and realistic. So that's what I went forward doing. But there was still so much to it that was all this dynamic lighting and crap. And I only need this view of the court, right? I don't need what's behind the camera, right? So deleted everything. I replaced all the textures. And finally, we have this. This is where we are at right now. My dude can run around and kind of dribble. But I spent hours and hours and hours yesterday trying to get him to dribble, throw the ball down, comes back to the hand, follows him as he's running at a good pace, looks good. Oh man, I had probably 8 different versions of the script that does this. Animation, he's already dribbling. I can get the ball to his hand. Script-wise, I got the ball to his hand. But, so then I tried this concept. Because one of the versions I had was he's dribbling and running, but the ball, he would be throwing it down. And when you're running with the basketball, you're moving the basketball forward with you, right? So I made this version where it's casting this ray, is what it's called, is a ray cast, where from the character, you're kind of dribbling the ball forward because you're moving forward. And the faster you go, based on the speed the character's moving, would change the angle at which the ball was ahead of you so that you catch up to the ball rather than the ball catch up. For whatever fucking reason, about 3, 4, 5 versions of this didn't work. Why? No idea. So, with that being said, what we have now is something sweet. I've made good progress. I've got a great idea, in my opinion, and I'm not going to give up. So, I want you to come along on this journey as I continue to make actual devlogs going step by step by step, or really giving you updates on how much progress I've made. And I appreciate any amount of support that you throw my way. I am going to start a Patreon. You don't have to join. I'm not begging you, but I will put it out there. And if I've already made it by this point, the link will be in the description. I appreciate anything. There's some other links in the description on how to support me, but if you don't want to support me at all, that's fine. You can buy the game I already released on Steam right now. It's called Voice Quest. It's a 3D platformer. You control your voice. It's a lot of fun. And there might just be a sale coming up. Let me know in the comments if there's any feature that you would be interested in having in this game. I'm very curious. Curious what people think about the idea. As much as I've talked about it on Blue Sky, it seems that people like the idea, the concept. I want to make the people happy. So if you have some ideas, some thoughts on an NBA Jam roguelite, actually we'll call it a jam-like roguelite, jam-like roguelite. If you have any ideas, anything you like the idea, let me know. I want to know everything. Subscribe, and please follow me on Twitch, where I have a lot of good times with my buddies. And maybe, if desired, if you guys let me know, maybe I will work on the game live in front of you. But for now, that's it. And if I've made the Patreon by now, again, it's down there. So if you feel like supporting me, thank you. That's it for now. Until Until next time. I'm making an NBA Jam inspired roguelite.
RNG Jam.
Been a little while since my last update, so what we're going to do is I'll just start off by showing you the progress I've made so far. Boys Club!
RNG Jam.
So as you can see, there's a good amount of bugs and things like that that I've got to work out. And not everything's perfect so far. Right, I've already implemented dunking, but it looks a little wonky. It's a weird arc. The guy kind of shoots up into the sky and then slowly lands, and that's not what I'm looking for. But I'm trying to get every little bit and piece of the regular Jam game loop in place before I get into the weeds of the randomization and the roguelite aspects, right? So typically in an NBA Jam game, you pick a team and you go head to head, or you go through the full gambit, you play a bunch of teams, etc. In this case, you will randomly generate your team. Will have very base stats. It's just standard base stats, no improvements here or there. You're not a better dunker than the other team. You don't have faster speed or anything like that. You don't even have better clutch shots. But as you progress, like for example, the first game you play against the very first team, they'll be the easiest team. Then you will have the opportunity to upgrade this or that. It's up to you, and there'll be some chance involved as well. I'm thinking of like similar to how I have a slot machine that pulls the random team. You can either you'll have your points to upgrade, or you could take a chance, and the chance machine will potentially give you worse stats moving forward. But if you don't have enough points and you want to take a chance, that will be there as well. That's the general idea, right? So right now where we're at is I've got most of the game loop, the regular just 2-on-2 basketball game loop done. You could shoot threes, you could do dunks, there's turbo, you can pass, you can tell your computer player teammate to pass to you, you can steal, you can block, you can goaltend, there's a shot clock. Everything that is a part of the rules of a regular NBA Jam game, I pretty much have. Now, for some reason, when you goaltend, it gives the ball back to you, which is not right. And, there's little bugs like this that I'm slowly working out. I mean, the last time that I showed you my progress, I had one guy on the court. He would all of a sudden start spinning after a little while, and it was a mess, right? But now we're at the point where we've got everything. We even got hot streaks. You become on fire. I've got to fix some of the graphics on that, but it happens. Like I've got the bits and pieces are there, right? I still need to build the UI. I need the name badges at the top. I need to have all player off-screen indicators working. I only have first player's off-screen indicator working. I need end of quarter animation. I need a goaltend text on the screen. I need halftime. What am I going to do at halftime? I think that will be another place where you'll be able to potentially upgrade if you've got enough points by that point in the game. I need to set the default quarter length. What would be best for an ongoing roguelike that you have to defeat team, and then that's like the whole run? Haven't figured that out yet. When I was doing a lot of testing, I had 30-second quarters, and that's way too short. Maybe a minute is good, but we'll see. We'll get there. Over time, every team you face will be an increasing difficulty. Will have higher stats. The computer player teams won't be random. They will be a select set of teams. I'm thinking 8 different teams that you face as a run. Your team is random. Your team name your guys on your team are random. I still haven't changed the players just yet. All I have right now is one player model, and the color of his shirt is different depending on which team you're on. So I'm not 100% sure what we're going to do there. I might allow you to change your 2 guys, like maybe put on some hats or something like that. Something simple. It doesn't need to be complicated. The whole idea is defeat the gambit of teams with your potential randomized stats as you go on, as you increase in luck and chance and et cetera, et cetera. You'll have the ability to increase your luck points. So anything that is based on luck, like will you make the shot, will you successfully steal from the other team, etc. If you increase your luck points, that the chance of doing those things will increase as well as you go along. So I haven't like nailed down the names of those things. Like right now I'm calling it luck points, right? But that's just like the variable in the code. So over time we'll see exactly what we do end up calling that. I still have some bugs to knock out. One of them being like randomly, I could play a full game and it's no problems somehow. And then all of a sudden I'll play another game and I go to steal the ball or pass the ball or something like that, and my player just gets stuck because there's somewhere in my code where something isn't lined up, and state-wise something's getting wigged out. I haven't figured it out yet. But as you can see too in the gameplay video, I put some people in the audience. We've got Carleezy Games is the narrator or the commentator. And so he's sitting in the commentator box there. We haven't recorded his voice lines yet, but we'll get there. And then I just put some of my family, my wife and her sisters and mom and all the kids in the audience so far. More as a test to put people in the audience, like 2D sprites in the audience, and it looks pretty good. But over time, I'm going to pack out the audience box. And I think one of the things that I'll do is if people are interested and they join the Patreon, I could put you in the audience too. How cool would that be? As this starts to catch wind and get popular over time, what a cool thing would be to be in the audience for being a Patreon member. Oh, and for a theme song, oh my God, I reached out to the guy who made the theme song for Balatro because he was once just a Fiverr guy, and boy did he blow up because of the popularity of Balatro. He used to do the whole song. A whole song for $60, and I asked him, and it was like I think he said like $400 a minute. Oh my God! So I think I potentially might just stick to making my own songs like I have so far. But hey, you know, if Patreon blows up, we'll be able to afford to pay the guy who made the Balatro theme song make it for us as well. We'll see. I don't know. Anyways, if you have any ideas for randomization or anything like that I might be able to put into the game, let me know in the comments. If you want to become a Patreon member, the link is in the description. If you want to support me in any other way in my attempts to make this jam-like roguelite, you can subscribe to me on Twitch. You can become a member on YouTube. I'm not doing anything special on YouTube for members. It's just there if you want to help support me. But Twitch subscribers, I'll be live weekly playing games with friends and stuff like that. So come by, hang out anytime. But I think that Patreon may be the best place to help support as time goes on. The more I work on this game, and you can see the kind of progress I've already made from my last devlog to this one. We've come quite a way. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, checking it out, and I hope that you stick along for the full ride of this game. I think we're almost to a point where I could put out a demo. I can even provide that demo on the Patreon, which will be sweet. And soon, I think in the next month or so, I'll be able to create a Steam page for this, and people can start wishlisting it. So help spread the hype, spread the news, let your friends know if they ever enjoyed OG NBA Jam. This is going to be the game to have. I am working on potentially having multiplayer. And the last NBA Jam game that even existed with multiplayer shut their servers down a few years ago, and they haven't made another installment since. So this is like the perfect time for this game. And I think playing arcade mode online with your friends and potentially even throwing in the roguelite aspects could be a lot of fun. How does that actually play out? I don't know 100%, but we shall see. Maybe you do best 3 of 3 or something like that, and so your stats change each game. I don't know. Either way, yeah, thanks for checking it out. Check out the Patreon. Links in the description. Blah, blah, blah. RNG Jam, baby. RNG Jam. That's the name.
RNG Jam.
I'm making a basketball video game. There's a lot of competition, I know, but I'm not trying to compete with the 2Ks or whatnot. Okay? I'm making an NBA Jam inspired roguelite. And so I'm not even competing with NBA Jam, if you think about it, because they haven't made a game in way too long. So people are hungry for some jam. I'm making real good progress. So check that out, which you can see some of that on the devlogs that I've put out, some of my previous videos, and check my Patreon if you want to help support that. But today, what we're going to be doing is recording shoe squeaks and making sound effects for the game. So stick around. This shouldn't be very hard. All right, so step 1 is to actually record the squeaks of my feet. I've got a pair of Nikes on right now. They're actually my Leo Baker skate shoes, which surprisingly I bought after watching the Women's Olympics. I saw these shoes this one lady was wearing when she was killing it, and I couldn't resist. And they are very comfortable, but they do squeak often. In fact, sometimes I will surprise myself with how loud the squeak is. And the other day I even spooked my wife. It was so loud. Anyways, so we're going to record those. And then, step 2, we take those sounds, we cut them up, and we put them into FL Studio. We put some effects on them, we clean them up, and then we downsample them to sound retro, because that's the vibe we're going for with this game. So first things first, I had to transfer over the videos from my other cameras, and now we will see who recorded better audio. Was it my iPhone or was it my professional mics? Because I have Shure mics. Everyone knows they're the best mics in the world, whatever. But the problem with that is on my interface, my Go XLR, I do have some amount of noise suppression. So it may not have picked it up, but my iPhone certainly would have. So here we are in Premiere, and we'll just call this Making Sound Effects. Apparently I recorded no audio, so that'll make it even funner to line up. The funnest, really. In way too long. Right, okay, so now we're linked up. We can get rid of the original audio track since it didn't even have anything. We can cut this to where the sound begins. Pop, pop, oh, bang, delete the beginning. Drag this up. We can go like this. Select them both and nest them. So now they are one. Okay. Now we have that. Clearly, this is where the sound effects are attempted to be made. So then let's drag in the iPhone. Scale to frame size. Let's just move this to the side here. And then we'll try to line this up. It appears like I did this here, maybe. All right, but who recorded it better is the question, right? So let's mute the shear mic and just hear the iPhone. There's a lot of background noise, and part of that is, there's no noise suppression on the iPhone, but let's hear it out of the shear mic. All right, so we don't need this end, and I'm pretty sure that's just me cleaning up afterwards, so we can get rid of the rest of that. So now we take the audio from the shear mic, we normalize it, raise the volume a little bit, and go from there. So let's see what that is like. So we could take this. What we want is this clip, this audio clip, and let's render and replace just this piece. Okay. Then, all right, so then we open it up. Here it is. There's our nested sequence. We go over to FL Studio, and let's just save what we were working on before, which is our mid-game music. But we'll come back to that another time. And let's do a new vintage. I made this template just to speed along vintage sound effect making. It's really nothing, but it does help. All right, let's drag this in here and let's check it out. My template has a couple muted tracks for no reason and was an accident. So you can see these are very small, right? But when we normalize it, we get it a little bit more intense. All right, so we definitely, one thing we're going to want to do is we're going to put this on a track and we are going to get rid of any bass. You can see that. Beautiful, right? Then we can see these giant peaks of this sound file are the obvious squeaks, but what I'm going to do actually is consolidate it. So the effect that I just put on it is actually now a part of the sound file, right? Now it's time to cut her up. And if we just zoom in and we turn off the lock, it's like we're making a beat. All right, so now we could put these on some effects, right? Did we just make the best beat ever made? Kind of want a tiny bit of reverb on here, but before effector. Big size, low delay, and we'll do a stereo shaper. We'll also move that up. Now these don't sound like much other than some shoe squeaks. I mean, it kind of sounds like a beat. I think I have a pack that Sometimes you're just curious. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting so distracted on this. You know what this kind of reminds me of? Wow, did I just get distracted? Okay, so anyways, there's the point to all of this, and that was I was making squeak sound effects. Yeah, okay, all right. Unmute all these guys. We're going to put them on separate tracks. What you can do is you can export each track individually, right? So we're going to go into our assets and our sounds, and we already have the squeaks, but we're going to do new squeaks. And we're going to save them in there. 3, we already have the script for shoe squeaks. I might improve it a little bit, but basically you don't want squeaking constantly. You kind of want it every now and then. There's a chance a squeak will occur if you change directions really fast. That's how it's already set. The way it is right now, I think I want to up the odds that you'll have a squeak if you move really fast. And then we just drag all our new squeaks in there, and we're done. What I was using so far was some sounds I got from an asset pack from the Unity Asset Store, but I want to have all my own sounds. We've already done dribbling and hitting backboards and things like that, but I thought I would actually show the process with the shoe squeaks. Yep. So we had 4 squeaks before. We have a few more now. That's our old sounds, but we're going Foley, baby. Then we got to get rid of our squeaks, drag our new squeaks to the squeak clips. Save this to our prefab. That's on the player controller. Then we go in and we go in our player controller, which I named something really weird at the beginning of all of this, and I'm not going to change it, so get off my back. And we do squeak. Check for squeak. All right, so there's already a squeak cooldown and a 1 in 5 chance to play the squeak. So first, what's the squeak cooldown? We're going to lower that a little bit. And then we're going to up our odds a little bit, and then we'll see. We'll see if we be squeaking. I got to restart Unity too because it is taking forever to load. You know you have issues when Unity takes forever to do something it usually does fast. We got some squeaks, baby. Okay. We're squeaked up from the cheeks up. Now, back to me from the past before I even did any of this. And that is making sound effects from scratch, the Foley way, as someone said on Blue Sky. By the way, follow me if you're not already. And yeah, check out the Patreon. All the links are in the description. Once we get this game a little bit further, we get some of the roguelite aspects in and squash some of the bugs, I will have this game up on Steam to be wishlisted. So until then, I'll see you later. So I flew all the way to San Francisco, long flight from Cleveland, for GDC 2025. I showcased RNG Jam, my NBA Jam-inspired roguelite, to the general public. I got tons of feedback. I met a bunch of industry professionals, gained some new acquaintances, some new contacts, and I pitched to a few publishers, which we'll talk about. But first, let me tell you about the trip. At the very beginning of the event, the weather was dog shit. So much so that my first flight, that's right, first flight, was delayed. I was already going to have a long layover in Nevada and then finally make it to California. But now that it was delayed, I wouldn't be getting to San Francisco until 5 in the morning. So I got a new flight, a direct flight, and then that also got delayed. But at least I would be getting to San Francisco by midnight. Not so bad. And I did. I got there at midnight. And then I booked a brand new hotel for the first night because I had a meeting at 9 a.m. the next day. And I just needed to get some sleep. So I checked into what was known as a boutique hotel, but was actually a renovated motel that was secure and clean. So, you know, I had no problem with it. Monday morning, I ate some breakfast really quick, got all my stuff together, rushed to my hostel, which I would be staying at for the rest of the week, and dropped off one of my bags, got back into an Uber, and went to the conference center. How much longer until we're there? When I got there, I got my badge, and then I scoped out the conference floor layout to kind of figure out like where my meetings would be and how easy it'll be to get to this place, that place, the other place. I had never been here before, so there's multiple halls, there's multiple buildings for the Moscone Center. That's where I was at, and I just had no idea like the layout and everything. So anyways, I figured all that out, and then I had my first meeting, 9 a.m. with Ryan at Mythic Talent. That's the talent agency that has people like Queso and, you know, what's his face? Which was great. It was like an informal icebreaker, you know, kind of getting used to talking to real people in real life. I've talked to Ryan before on email, but it was nice to meet him in person and kind of go over our goals for the week. And we even did some spitballing of what some publishers may or may not ask while we're talking about my game. It was really useful, and it was really cool to you know, meet Ryan in person and gain that solid contact for the future. But my next meeting wasn't until the afternoon, so then I went back to the hostel, took a nap. My second meeting was with P Cube. They're a publisher, European-based publisher. And the funny thing was, with all the European-based publishers, for some reason they rented out one floor of a WorkWise, think of a WeWork, just a big open workspace. And all the European publishers were meeting with people. People were pitching games and whatnot. And so I did it. I pitched my game. I brought out this nice Genesis copy of RNG Jam. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Then I also had my business cards. That looks sick. And I have my RNG Jam coat. That's it on the front. I don't know how good that you could see that, but anyways, that was the general, like, the look for the pitching. I had my business cards, I had the Genesis game, I had my coat on, and my computer. The title slide looked like this. Pretty cool. Anyways, the pitch went well. It was a reaction. I didn't know what to expect going into this sort of stuff, but it seemed like they liked it. So we moved to the point of just talking about timelines and showing the budget. And anyways, it all went great. I walked out of there with a smile on my face that I couldn't get rid of. And then that night was an event called GDC Nights, the first one, the Monday night GDC Nights. And it was, I think it cost $50 just to go to this overly expensive party that was in one of the conference halls. It was, in my opinion, one of the biggest wastes of money of the entire event. And it was lame and super expensive. To map it out for you, it already cost $50 to go to this thing, right? Then a beer, the cheapest of all of the beers that they had, was $18. Now, to put in this perspective, yes, San Francisco is a pretty expensive place to be and to eat and to drink. But across the street at the W, this hotel, at their bar, now this place is like $15 to $1,600 minimum a night. Their beer, same beer, $8. Come on, GSC, what is this price, dude? Anyways, there are better free, unofficial GDC events and parties every single night of the week throughout the entire city. Tons of them. You'll be able to get into something, and it's going to be way more worth it than going to GDC nights. Do not go unless all you really want to do is play puzzles and board games and watch Netflix. I mean, come on. Netflix. Anyways, as the days continued, I had a meeting with another publisher. These guys are based out of Belgium. They were awesome. They're called Fire Falcom. They actually were previously just porters. They just ported games from like PC to mobile to Switch, etc. And they have their own like technology to do that makes it really simple for them. But they're starting publishing. And they actually reached out to me for this meeting, which was awesome because they were so excited to talk about my game. And like they had already looked at it, thought about it, and they only set a few meetings for the week. And I was one of them. That was awesome. They were so excited about it. They got me excited. I got them even more excited. We were talking, man, imagine next year we come with a booth and, you know, we have a basketball. It was very cool. So I look forward to hearing from them and the potential partnership that may become. Then I met with a PR person at Starfall PR. Now, I had a few of these PR people reach out to me. I didn't know what to expect. You know, what's the goal? Are they just like looking to make money off of me? And yeah, probably. But I respected this conversation. You know, because if we don't get a publisher deal, which there's always a chance we don't, having a PR person may come in handy. So it's nice to gain that contact and get that sort of acquaintance going. It's another contact that I'll have in the future in case we need that. And it was a really enjoyable conversation. Anyways, then that night I went to a party hosted by Reddit, Tipalti, and Unity. Tipalti is like a payment processor, whatever. I don't know if you've heard of it, you know, just the kind of stuff like Candy Crush or like, you think Clash of Clans where there's all this in-game transactions. But personally, I feel like this isn't the kind of stuff to celebrate and to put on display and host gaming parties because it's like, basically, look at how much money we make off of roping people into scamish type payments. I don't know. I don't really love it, and I may work for a publisher at some point that has games like that on their roster. But I don't want to do that in my game unless one day I'm convinced to go to the dark side. Anyways, this party was packed out. I met some cool people. It was shoulder to shoulder in this club. There was, you could see right here, like this is the DJ situation. It was cool. Don't get me wrong, it was cool. I enjoyed myself. Beer was normal priced. And overall, I would recommend going to a party like that rather than anything that GDC puts on at night. Then I also went off to a retro game store because we don't really have much like that around us. And I found this really cool place. They had all sorts of Japanese copies of games and stuff like that. I mean, I was on the hunt for some more Jam, if you know what I mean. See, I got this Japanese copy of NBA Jam for the Sega Saturn. That was pretty sick. If you didn't know, like, this is an actual copy of NBA Jam, but I also have another copy of NBA Jam and NBA Jam Tournament Edition. I also got Barkley Shut Up and Jam. I'm a Jam aficionado. Oh, and speaking of retro, Discord also gave me this cool, like, original Nintendo type box. Inside is a fake Nintendo cartridge, which this all is an ad for their new ad platform Quests you might have seen in Discord. But that's pretty sick, little piece of merch. Gives me some ideas for the future. Anyways, also one of the days I demoed my game for the public, like I talked about, and they played it, had some fun. One guy, he talked a lot. Really, he said the same thing over and 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 over again. That he thinks that my UI is too much like Balatro, and there's too many Balatro clones coming out right now. And although that may be true, I have not seen any of that. But maybe I just don't download every single game that comes out. I don't know. My UI is like Balatro, and I like it, so it's staying. But I did get some really good feedback about the general flow and things like that. Gave me some good ideas on how I might change some things up. Saw a few bugs. And even another developer was like, hey, maybe it's this. And I think I may have actually found the problem because of that. So this was all around useful to do demoing with the public. But overall, from publishers, from demoing, other than that one yapper, no real negative feedback. Still, online, anywhere, everything I'm getting is positive. And that is awesome. If you've been on the internet long enough, you know that that's not always the case. So coming soon, a lot of cool updates to the game, improvements, bug fixes. Might have a Steam page up in the next couple of weeks where maybe I'll have a demo. We'll see. Depends on what happens with a publisher. If we get one or not, keep me in your desires, wishes, dreams, and prayers that I get a publisher, because that would be epic. And, just stay locked for more updates. I might have a devlog also come out, but for now, here is some footage of the current state of the game that I was showing off at GDC. Boys Club!
RNG Jam.
Guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share this. If you want to be in the audience of the game, Patreon. Why did you add drugs to the game? Let me tell you, my NBA Jam inspired roguelite is coming along. It's looking pretty good. I've got just about everything you need gameplay wise for the basketball to feel like NBA Jam. But now comes the hard part. I need to add drugs. How else do basketball players increase their statistics in real life if not for drugs? All I've got so far is Roguelite. Roguelite will increase your turbo amount so you can hold turbo longer, but we need more. We need dunks, we need threes. We also need temporary power-ups. Things like, for this game, a half-court shot is worth more points. I haven't figured that out yet, but that'll be a thing. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is clone Roguelite and start from there. I think it's okay if like 2 of the drugs look similar. This one is for slam dunks. Then most popular pharmaceutical drugs. Amoxicillin. Amoxicillin? Well, I think we could do that. We're just gonna free ball this to get a general. Maybe we'll just do Amoxicillam. Yeah, I like that idea. All right, so that's the general Moxa. That looks pretty good. In game, it'll look even better. These are tiny, you know. They get blown up, they look great in game. All right, and I kind of want like it to be red. Then we'll just adjust the pills. All right, there's our new Amoxicillam. Looking great. I kind of also want to do like a box. How does a 3D box look? We'll go like that. This could be a nice blue box. All right, that's like my base box. This one is, so if that's for dunks, that's for turbo. This could be 3. Let's see, what's like Adderall alternative? Threedolin. Just get a big honkin' 3. Use a different font this time. Like, yes, hard to see. I'm aware. I could add some more shading and stuff, but I just don't know if I feel like it. So that's my new drugs. What do you think? Do you like Roguelite? Do you like Threedolin? Or do you like Amoxicillam the best? Give me your ideas for future drugs to add to the game, as well as temporary stat increases and things of that matter, like 5-point half-court shots or whatever it may be. Give me your ideas in the comments, and theme page coming soon. I'll let you know when it's time to start wishlisting the game.
Frequently as streets postcode, shivers in my spine's lane, no map for my steps, just the hunger in my rib cage. Pebbles crack beneath, whisper death in raw slang. Every shadow my mirror echoes, call my gang. Got a blade for the wind, cutting whispers through the fog, road unknown.